for 3 years. It's like a trial phase, but I don't have time, so I'll skip it.
3 years?
3 years. Yeah. It's a permanent. Yeah.
Temporary.
Okay. I'll explain. The women organizations objected to the law. Okay? They said, we have rights for authorities, so no way you can do mandatory ADR in that kind of situation. Because, you know, all the criticism of feminism about mediation, that the spouse that is weak is getting weakened. So they wanted to abolish the rights to authorities. They wanted to be in a situation they can separate their religious from the state. Right? That's not going to happen in Israel. Sorry. No political chance that can happen. So we have to be pragmatic. So the politicians went ahead with the legislation process. This wasn't easy because Michal, whom I'm working with, she's a radical feminist. And have all the Israeli women's organization saying you're doing something wrong, it was hard for her. But she's pragmatic. She said, I have a chance now to make this work. This will make the situation better. So if I can't have it all, I have just a bit.
Did the religious organizations in Israel want to be part of the IFC or be woven in there to have religious messaging?
Yes.
So
They
when
like
you
the
say
idea
social worker,
very much. The compliance of the rabbinical courts with this law is much better than the family judges in the civil family court.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
Because do they see this as an opportunity of saving the marriage?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Both.
I thought.
Or saving the kids, yeah.
Or
If you can save the
having
marriage,
more
save the kids.
jurisdictions. Okay? When you don't have to formulate a lawsuit and you don't need to establish the reasons why they have jurisdiction,
Yeah.
they can interfere with everyone.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's all about rules.
So, it's all about, okay, it's a different lecture. I
Strange
can
that it's
take
all about power.
I can speak about it.
I had no idea.
I can speak about the power shift. Sorry?
What percentage is it actually, if the courts aren't necessarily 100% following the referral, and the religious court
No,
is
the
doing...
family judges objected and did the best they can to ruin this, but they didn't.
But are they doing it?
They don't do the, they don't need to do anything. That's
Not
the
at
point.
all.
They just need,
The
they
stay
need not
is
to
happening.
interfere.
Right.
That's all.
But the
Okay.
stay is happening.
Stay is happening.
So filing the lawsuit is helping the process.
Filing a motion to settle
Yeah.
helps people to litigate less.
But they have to file the petition to
They
get
have
the
to,
motion.
yes, they have to file a petition.
It's not
They
all.
cannot, they cannot start, if you want to start litigation, you have to start with a motion to settle. And then you have the 75% day of stay of proceedings, and then only that, one of the parties has the right to submit his or her lawsuit, and the proceedings begins. But the timeout that's given is shifting everything. So I'll just, no, I have to
Keep going.
keep going. I want
And
to
you're
talk
saying
about,
half are not coming back.
yeah,
Yeah.
I won't talk about the objections to the law. I just told you I'm skipping. That the family judge's objection was a big surprise. Okay? We want to reduce the amount of stress you have, judges. Why don't you want to do it?
Because you're going to make me.
Power.
Power,
That's my understanding. Because
Make me
as I said
irrelevant.
before, you had to be referred to the family support unit by a court order.
Yeah.
And I took them away from them. They can't control the family support unit anymore. The people go straight to them. They see a social worker before they see a judge. You know how many judges told me? That's not good. Families need to see a judge first. Social worker later. Okay, that
After
was
I
a
messed
that's a big argument in Israel,
Who's
okay?
taking care of the family, a social worker or a judge? That's the question.
Well, we'll see in 3 years.
We are seeing. Okay, we'll skip to the numbers, okay? There was an argument, and then I didn't talk then. What is success? I told you the visual effects are part of the story here. What is success? I won't go to the politics of numbers, okay? But that's another story. How you calculate, how do you decide if this law is successful is another issue by itself. Sitting in the government committee, I get the numbers and I argue how should you calculate the numbers? What numbers do you need to compare? Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm doing. Okay, I'm taking the numbers of claims filed to the court before the law is implemented and after. Absolute numbers. Okay? Because I can't compare apples to bananas. I want to compare apples to apples. Okay? That's how I get. I'm good at math. Okay? So I want to get it straight to minimize the diversion of the outcome. So here are the numbers for the first year. The first year was dramatic. 70% drop. But it's not fair. I saw the numbers and I said, something here doesn't work. It's too much. And why is that? I come to my opinion is that we shouldn't have calculated the first 3 months of the simulation of the law because everything was on hold. We had like a big state of shock in the family field, no files of any kind, so it wasn't real. And my understanding was then affirmed by the numbers of the second year. Okay? So you see the decrease is still big, but it's moderated. It's not 70%, it's 45%.
And by claims, you mean a regular divorce filing, right?
Yeah.
Not motions to settle or
Right.
or motions for emergency exemption.
Exactly, because you can calculate it in many ways. You know, the family support units wanted to calculate how many motions to settle were submitted. The family court wanted to know how many motions to extreme conditions were submitted. You know, each institute wanted its own way of looking at things because of power issues and resources and all the politics of numbers. This is my analysis. Okay, this is my analysis. This is the way I see it. But everyone agrees that in the second year, just concluded the second year of the simulation of the law, there's a drop of 50%. Okay, so we argue about the numbers and how we should count it, but we agree that it's a dramatic change, and even the family judges agree now that it's a big change, and it's not a known failure as they said before it was implemented. And I need to cut to the chase, and I want to do the pros and cons. I don't have the time for that. My data analysis. 2 conclusions. Okay. What can we learn from the Israeli experience? So first of all, I told you that I was interested in the professional aspect of it all. And if you read Julie McFarlane's book about the new lawyer, I saw what she's writing about coming alive. I saw that our law profession is evolving. I didn't talk about the objection, but the family lawyers were in completely hysteric mood before the law was implemented. It was on the news day and night. People couldn't stop talking about it. I went from city to city to talk about it in Israel. And I walked into the room, there were 200, 300 lawyers. We will have no money. What are you doing? You're ruining my profession. I won't be able to pay my bills. And I tell them, it's a gateway. It's a new gateway to the legal proceedings. It's just a new procedure. The profession will not vanish. It will evolve. It wasn't so easy as I'm saying now.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It was hard, but
So what,
very
is that your
satisfying.
conclusion? That sounds,
That's
we're getting there?
I'm getting there. Yes.
Yes, like a minute.
Studies tells us that the law profession is very sensitive to change. It's responsive to changes of all sorts. And we usually talk about and think about the economic changes and technological changes, but it's also responsive to relationship shifts, to values, things that are much deeper than our technology that's all around us. And litigation, to be a good litigator, you have to be very flexible. Okay? You have to be ready to the unexpected all the time. And you have to have the ability to change. If you don't do that as a litigator, you won't succeed. Because the surrounding is changing all the time. You have surprises. If you're not ready for the surprise, you're doing a very bad job as a litigator. So the ability to evolve and to change is inherent in our profession. So we don't need to be so alarmed and so afraid from change. Another conclusion of mine was about the way to deal with objection to social change. Okay? I came to the understanding that you can call for change without eliminating the old. Okay? If you keep saying, you're doing a bad job, you need to be different, no cooperation. No one will get it. They will fight you, they will build up walls against the change, and they will not go along with you. And guess what? We can do the same thing that we are doing with our clients, the collaborative process. We can take the same tools of listening, of doing things slowly, of respecting the other's perspective. All that we do, all that we tell our clients, we should tell ourselves. Baby steps, little steps, we can make it happen. So, we need to conclude and end this.
Sorry, what was that second conclusion then? That we should be walking our talk? Sort of.
Yeah, that we cannot, when you need to cope with resistance and objection to change, you need to embrace it. You need to listen to the critics.
Right, okay.
Respectfully. Okay, don't argue, you are wrong and I'm right. Just be aware, be there, listen. Be respectful of the fears of the change and work with them, not against. Your critic is a friend. I invite people to criticize me because I'm a feedback junkie. Okay? But I say, give me the critic. Give me, what's wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I will fix it. I'm not defensive and saying, oh, I got it all right. I'm trying to be more modest about what I know and about what I don't know, and there's a lot I don't know. So tell me what I don't know, and let's figure out a way we can make it happen. And this will give you, this can go a long way, you know? And it's the same thing we're doing with our clients. It's the same attitude. It's the same state of mind. And that can make us very major players in the social environment. But we can all be an agent of change. You choose to change. You have the tools. The collaborative skill enables you to be an agent of change. And what I understood, I don't have time for this. Okay. You want me to continue?
Yeah.
Or you want to? This is something, some diagram that takes it all inside. Okay? Inspiration, structure, collaborative, social, law, psychological law, everything together. Because I'm saying this is a mechanism of timeout. Okay? Why is that? With the default of litigation, okay, the conflict escalates. We have survival mentality, okay, or flight or flight. And we have ad hoc solutions. But if we give timeout, as we do in mediation, as we do in the collaborative process, we give timeout. We open the path. Half will go to litigation, okay, but half can go here. And here we can give them more timeout. What happens is, remember the period of stay of proceedings? People that don't go into negotiate, extend that. They extend the period of stay of proceedings. They don't give up their right to litigate. Judges continue negotiation with submitting more motions to prolong the stay period. Okay? So they know they can continue negotiating very safely. No one will submit any lawsuits. Okay? We are agreeing that both of us will not submit lawsuits. That sounds familiar? Okay? That's the collaborative way of doing things. This is the same structure. And with giving them more time out, we can get to the creative mind that we all want them to go. Okay? And they can choose mediation, collaboration, and negotiation and come to significant solutions. So that's the structure that's inspired by the collaborative way. I can go on. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I needed more time.
So do we.
Or spend less time telling us why the current system sucks.